So I was going to start this video by saying that I made a near fatal mistake while decluttering this toy room, but honestly the more I think about it, the more I think I probably did the right thing. Not sure I would do it again, but I think in this instance it was probably okay. Let's go. Hey, how's it going? It's Laura, and this mistake that I made, it meant that this took so much longer than it should have, could have, and I was cursing myself throughout the entire thing. Well, really kind of towards the end. I think looking back, I probably would have still done it to a certain extent, but I would have done it in a different way. But look, you live and learn. Though honestly, at almost 10 years into this decluttering journey, I really would have thought that I would have learned all the lessons by now and everything would just be smooth sailing. But no. Anyway, the mistake. I did this with my daughter. That wasn't the mistake. I did this with my daughter because the stuff in this room is all of her stuff, and while she is old enough now to kind of make decluttering decisions for herself, like what she wants to keep, what she wants to get rid of, she's not quite old enough yet to be a self-starter about it. She still needs some help with the actual doing and, you know, the motivation and the getting it done part. So we're in the thick of it. We are breaking everything down into small sections, you know, going tiny space by tiny space, the exact same way we did it for her bedroom. I will link that video if you haven't seen it. So we're working our way around the toy room. Actually, as a brief aside, something that really helped her to let go of a lot more stuff, just really helped the whole process go smoother than it could have, was that she really wanted to turn this from a toy room into a gamer room. And I think that kind of subtle shift in her brain, like renaming it from a toy room into a gamer room, gave her a better vision for how she wanted the space to look. It gave her a better vision for, you know, what she felt fit into a gamer room and what didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you here, I think I'm probably going to use this trick myself. I think choosing a cool name for a space really helps to visualize things. You know, I know a lot of other decluttering experts, like Marie Kondo, for example, they all talk about visualizing the space or thinking about how you want the space to function, how you want it to look and feel. But I think actually giving it a cool name really helps with that. So for me, for instance, I've been thinking, you know, it's not just my desk in my home office, it is my business's control center. It is command center. So yeah, cool names might be the way to go. Anyway, back to the story. So for each session, we're only working for a short amount of time. And anytime she says that she wants to take a break, I'm like, that's totally fine by me. The only time I kind of pushed back hard on this was when we were towards the end, like there was just one pile left. It was the maybe pile, and I just wanted to get it done. But even at that, I think that took us about an hour. So not like too bad, certainly a lot longer than the other decluttering sessions, but overall, yeah, the finish line was in sight and I just wanted to get there. So yeah, small spaces, short amount of time, and I actually asked her what she would like to tackle. So she was the one who made the decisions. It meant, you know, she was less likely to get fed up, the fact that we were keeping it very small, very manageable, and she had a little bit more control over it, you know, me asking her which space she wanted to tackle for that particular session. I was basically just trying to get as much buy-in as possible, but here's where I went wrong, okay? So my daughter finds it hard to let go of certain things, okay, and that's totally natural, but she will often agonize over a decision, particularly if it's something that she kind of feels that maybe she should let go of, or feels that it's probably time to let go of it, but she agonizes over what's going to happen to it. And so sometimes she will think, you know, oh, I could sell this, or I could give it to a specific person, you know, a specific friend of hers. I know definitely with her clothes, she finds it much easier to let go of her clothes when she knows that it's going to a particular friend of hers. So that's something that makes it easier for her. And actually it's something that I always recommend to everybody. If you know where something is going, what cause it's going to, things like that, it can make it a lot easier to let go of stuff. But She also, for example, does not have a specific understanding yet that there are certain things that other people don't particularly want. So there are certain things, for instance, that you can't donate. Like to her, they might be special or important, or it might seem like they have value, but they don't. So to speed up the process, I basically just created one big "this is going" pile. You know, like we don't know exactly where it's going, we don't know exactly what we're doing with it yet. It might be a donation item, it might be recycling, it might just be rubbish, we don't know. But for now, we're just going to keep it in this is out of here pile. On the one hand, it made it much easier for my daughter to let go of stuff because she didn't really have to agonize over where it was going to go or anything like that. We just put it into a pile. We just decided, like, it was a very straightforward stay or go decision, which really sped things up. That made it easier and faster for her. But oh my, the job I left for myself then at the end, having to go back over that pile of stuff. I just wanted to set fire to all of it. It was a painful process. Like, there were realistically probably hundreds of items there. I mean, I can comfortably say there were hundreds of items there, between just like pens and pencils and coloring pencils and bits of paper and little crafting bits and, you know, just all the tiny little things. It was a horrendous experience. Honestly, I just wanted to cry. I had essentially doubled my workload because I had decluttered her toy room and then essentially had to declutter it a second time. I had to go back over everything a second time. I would never do it that way again. Here's what I would do if I were redoing it. I think I definitely would still kind of just have a stay or go situation with her, but I would have a very clear donation pile. Like, we're both agreed this is going to be donated. I would have a very clear recycling pile, a very clear rubbish pile, and then I would have a very subtle, my daughter thinks this is going one place, but it's actually going another place pile. Like, she thinks this should be donated, but I know it's actually not fit for anything except the bin. But back to the process and what did go well. So again, like I said, breaking it down into small sections, just tackling small areas at a time. Also asking her what she wanted to tackle, what space she felt she could take on that day. Stopping whenever she wanted to stop. Except, like I said, for the big pile at the end, there were certain kind of small areas where, you know, we would get most of the way through it and she would want to stop. And I would say, look, there's only like 2 minutes left in this, or we only have 10 more items to go through. So there were kind of like some small little things like that. But generally, I didn't push back too hard until, like I said, it came to the final big maybe pile. The reality was that this room was just in chaos. Essentially, it was a big mess. My daughter's at an age now where she doesn't really play with toys anymore, but she's not quite old enough yet to be ready to part with a lot of them. You know, they still have meaning and sentiment and value to her. So that's kind of why I did it the way I did it. I wanted to make it as easy as possible for her, you know, just make it easy to get through the process. I wanted us to be able to make those fast decisions without just leaving everything as a big giant mess. I didn't want her to have to deal with that big giant mess at the end that really was of my own making. I also wanted to respect her decisions as much as possible, and I really feel that this is important. It can be a struggle, it can be frustrating at times, but if she says that she wants to keep something, I respect that. If she says that she wants to let go of something, she's ready to let go of it, but for sentimental reasons, I'm not ready to let go of it. That's something else that I still set aside, put it into that big giant pile. But there were 1 or 2 things that I personally kept out of that and put it into my little sentimental area. I think this is true for grown-ups as much as it is for kids, but sometimes we can't understand, you know, that something is important to someone else. Like, it might seem like rubbish to us. It might seem like something that is useless or ugly or whatever. to us, but to someone else, it might have value, or they just may not be ready to part with it. I know that has certainly been the case for me over the years. So I recognize that in myself, and I try to respect other people's wishes, other people's decisions. So I did the same for her. If there was something she wanted to keep, even if I felt it was useless, even if I felt she had outgrown it or whatever, if she wanted to keep it, I let her. The reality is that it might be important to her now, but as she grows, it will probably lose its importance. Maybe it won't, but for a lot of things, they will lose their value to her. In fact, there were a few times during the process where she said this, and I thought this was very mature, like intellectually and emotionally mature of her, but she said there were certain things that she knew that technically she kind of should let go of, or that she should be kind of past, or she knew that she had outgrown them, but she just wasn't quite ready to let go of them. And again, I respected that decision. She will get to that stage eventually, but I think it's very counterproductive to try and force that at this point. I know for me, like if there are certain things that I'm kind of humming and hawing about, and somebody says to me, just get rid of it, like we'll just get rid of that, like I feel much more attached to it then, because I don't like to be told what to do. So I feel like if she is kind of there but not quite, just give her the time and space that she needs. In time, she will be able to part with more and more things, and this is why I always revisit categories. I actually did it with this toy room as well. So sometimes we would start off a decluttering session, because we did this over like a long period of time, small little sessions here and there, but sometimes I would start a session by revisiting the previous session, like revisiting the previous stuff that she had decided to keep, and just very quickly asking her if there was anything else that she felt that she could let go of now that, you know, a few days or even weeks had passed. I have learned that revisiting is vital, not just for her, but for me as well, and actually my husband. It's something that over the years I have become very enthusiastic about. Okay, I'm very passionate about this. I feel like this is probably the key, like the real key to letting go of more and more stuff. It's just revisiting. So I call it my wave method, where over time you just keep going back over a space and back over a space, so that you're eroding more and more each time. I think when you do an initial declutter, if you're really serious about it, you'll probably get rid of the bulk of stuff with that first session. But I think if you keep going back over it over time, you will find additional things that you're ready to part with. I don't think any of us has decluttered everything that we want to declutter on the first pass. So you keep coming back, like wave after wave, and there might be an hour between waves. You might do a little decluttering session and then go for a walk or something, go clear your head, and come back an hour later, go get a snack or something, come back, and then, with fresh eyes. Or there may be a few days between waves. There may even be a few months. I know for me, particularly with my closet, that's something that I only go back over about once a year. But each time I erode a little bit more. For example, one corner of this room right over here actually had my books in it. There's a little shelf over there, and I had a lot of my books. And even though I have decluttered my books multiple times over the years, this time when I went through them, because she had this vision for a gamer room and I really wanted to kind of give her that vision, I ended up decluttering over 30 of those books, and there weren't even that many there to begin with. Like 30 was most of them. So revisiting is really vital. I know that we will revisit this room multiple times over the next few years, and I know that each time she will be able to get rid of more and more stuff. And yes, I know that like new stuff over time will replace some of the older stuff, but slowly but surely we will get it down to the bare bones of what sparks joy for her. Now, I will say that she did occasionally change her mind the other way. There were some things that she decided at the time that she was ready to part with, and then changed her mind and decided she wanted to keep them for now. One of the big things was the doll's house, which is over here. She initially said she was ready to let go of it. We said that we were going to gift it to a neighbor. So it was initially gifted to us by a very generously gifted to us by a neighbor. Her two girls had outgrown it. They gave it to Scout. She played with it for a long time, and now she felt she was ready to gift it to another neighbor of ours with a small girl. So I spent a long time, both of us actually spent a long time getting it ready. So there were a ton of accessories with it. We spent time separating them all out, you know, categorizing them all, putting them into little individual bags, which is how they were when we initially received it. Dusted the whole thing, like really cleaned it all up. And then the mistake that I made, I don't regret this one either, but she asked if, you know, we could play with that one last time. And of course, we played, we had fun, we laughed, and then she felt attached to it again, and she decided she wanted to keep it for now after all. So look, that was fair enough. We still have it, and I still do ask her every now and again if she's ready to part with it yet. And so far the answer has been no, but I know that someday the answer will be yes. So we had the pile of stuff that she was keeping. We worked together to kind of put that stuff back, though honestly I made her do the bulk of that work because I felt like she would have a better idea of where she wanted certain things to go. And then we had the giant pile of stuff that she was getting rid of, and I went through all of that. I cannot even begin to describe how mind-numbing that process was. There were so many things, and some of them were awkward things. Like, for example, there were some notebooks and I had to kind of flick through all of them to make sure that there was, you know, nothing in there that I wanted to keep, you know, nothing sentimental. There was nothing kind of confidential in there. Or if we were planning on donating it, just to flick through and make sure that there were no like scribbled pages, or like a sticker book to make sure that all stickers were in there. Different things like that. And I do not think I have ever hated a decluttering task more. I tell you, there is nothing that will make sentimentality leave your body quicker than having to go through every single item that your child owns twice. In the end, I got to the stage where I didn't care if I ever saw any of it again. I just wanted it all out of here. But all in all, how much did she get rid of? I was just eyeballing it, obviously, because I wasn't going to count every single thing, but by eyeballing, and my husband agreed with this, I think we got rid of about 80% of the stuff that was in this room. 80%. Even my husband thought that that was good, and that man is very hard to impress, let me tell you. And I got that stuff out of my house so fast. Like I said, I never wanted to see it again. Listen, honestly, just between us, I would get rid of everything. I was just at that point, but it's not my stuff, it's hers. So the 20% is still staying for now. I think I will be able to get it below the 20%, but for now, it's here. She will declutter more stuff in time, and let's be honest, it's not like I don't have a lot of my own stuff to also go through. So we're not going to do a whole pot kettle situation. But anytime I declutter this toy room, gamer room, I like to give you a realistic look at the after. So not the after that I usually show for all of my other decluttering projects, because for those I take the footage like immediately after I have done a job. You know, it's at a time when everything still looks really organized and pristine, neat and tidy. Looks like no one actually lives there. But for this one, it's actually been a few months since we tackled this, and she has used the space, so you're getting a real look at how this space looks. No tidying things, no like fixing things up or straightening things for the camera, none of that. Just a real life look. Okay, no, I'll be honest, the reality is that I didn't take any after footage at the time because I was so fed up. I just wanted to be done with the whole thing. So you don't have any of that nice pristine footage. So instead what you're getting is what I'm giving you today. I just don't have it in me to tidy up for the internet. Now I will say, as I mentioned at the outset, she wanted to turn this into a gamer room. She's not really like a toy person anymore. But even at that, she still does most of her gaming in her bedroom. So realistically, this room does not get heavy use. It does still look tidier than certain other areas in our home. Just wanted to be honest there. So let me show you the before shot for each space first, and then what it looks like today, which is almost 4 months from when we finished. So this was the first corner where most of the books were, and this was the other corner on the opposite side where a lot of her books were. We decluttered a bunch here, and then an absolute miracle happened, okay, because for some reason, I don't know, he must have caught the bug, but my husband decluttered his home office. Listen, I am as surprised and delighted as you are. Like, bells were ringing, angels were singing. It was truly an experience. Anyway, we used to keep board games downstairs in his office, which didn't really make sense because we normally play on the dining table. So we moved them up here and we put them on the bookshelves here. She put them all in, so they're just kind of shoved in there. We have played with them since as well. So these corners do actually get reasonably regular use. Probably out of all the spaces in this room, these are the things that she goes to most. I also keep some snacks and drinks here because I keep tubs outside so that delivery drivers, anyone who's delivering to our home, can grab a snack or a drink. So that kind of stayed because it's just right inside the front door. It's very easy then to top up the tubs that are outside. And her big egg chair, she brought that down from her room because she felt that that was more of a gamer room, furniture type situation. So that now sits there, and she has actually used that corner quite a bit. With this corner then, she does kind of understand that she has outgrown the doll's house and the kitchen here, but like I said, she's not quite ready to part with them. So for now, they are staying, but this whole area just got a bit of a tidy up. We still have the dolls and the accessories and stuff there kind of ready to go whenever she's ready to part with them. But for now, yes, the stuff is still here. The desk then. The desk had become a bit of a dumping ground. Anytime I asked her to tidy up stuff that was, you know, somewhere else in the house, she would just like gather it all up and dump it right here on the desk. Immediately after we decluttered this one did take a while, but immediately afterwards, really all that was on this desk was the laptop, the camera and the little tripod, a keyboard and a mouse. She was going to have that as her little gamer corner specifically, but she has since, you know, done some drawings on it, she's done some crafting on it, so this is exactly how it looks today. A big difference, and I have to say that even though it has been 4 months since we finished this, it hasn't got back to the previous state because she has so much less stuff. There's less stuff now to pile on top of this space. So yeah, pretty pleased about that one. This space was probably the worst because just all of the cubbies were shoved full of things, tiny bits of random everything. So we initially started with the top and then we just did each cubby individually. This one was a slog, not gonna lie, but it looks so much better now. I mean, is it exactly how I would like it to look? No, but there's a lot less stuff there and she has it looking the way she wants it. So it's a vast improvement. I let her categorize things according to what she thought would work best for her. But yeah, overall, I feel like this is definitely one of those spaces where more work could be done, but that is another wave for another day. So overall, this is what the space looked like before, and this is the after. A massive difference, not just in terms of looks, but also in terms of function. I can actually cross the room now without stepping on something. And the dog can get to the window where she is right now to bark at things outside. So like I said, about 80% of the stuff gone, and honestly about 80% of my sanity went with it. Although it did come back after a while. But a big project with big results. One of the best parts is that whereas before, like previously when we decluttered this room, I kind of always knew it was going to fall apart again because she was using the room. She was going to be playing in here. She was also going to be getting toys for like birthdays and Christmas. So I knew it was going to end up a mess. But now I am pretty confident that this room will stay pretty much the same, certainly be much more manageable because like I said, she's kind of outgrown a lot of toys now. Now, I didn't bring my daughter in to help me record this video because honestly, like I said, it has been almost 4 months since we finished this. I just wanted to get this video recorded. It's been a while. But she did share her thoughts on decluttering her bedroom, which was pretty much the exact same process. So you can catch that one right here. Also, I will link the entire whole house declutter playlist in the description box. But until next time, glad this is done. Slán.